Good afternoon. When I created this channel, mainly to talk about one of my main issues, which is fighting legalized abortion, I discovered that I was going to have to become a very good reformer. And in order to be good at reforming people, you have to figure out what that person's strongest characteristics are, what their strengths are, and adversely, what their weaknesses are. And a reformer has to be the most exciting person, someone who needs it can ever meet. Someone who needs reforming in order to be effective, in order not to just spin their wheels going through life with possibly great potential and just not living up to it, to potential. Just not doing it. I started very early in life having to become a reformer because I was a child and I was at the mercy of drinkers, my father's family, outlaw behavior, domestic violence, just lies, cover up, just all kinds of things that I couldn't tolerate. So I had to start learning how to become a reformer. Now I remember, you talk about a child reformer. I remember after I got divorced, I didn't go out for quite a while, and one night I said that I was going to go out, and my son Raymond, my youngest, who was only about 6 or 7, he come and got hold of me and said, "Mom, no, you can't go. You can't go to a bar. I don't want you going to a bar." And I said, "Well, Raymond, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to drink alcohol. No." So he was pretty fearful about what I might do now that I wasn't married anymore, and whether I was going to get off on the wrong track. In fact, all during his childhood, we got to call him the little preacher because he would scold people if they drank or did anything that he thought was really going to cause trouble, because he knew that his father and I had gotten divorced over drinking, and that drinking was a big issue in my own life. My father and his family, his brothers. So anyway, I was undoubtedly the same sort of child who would start looking at my dad with very accusing eyes when he was drinking or doing something that was going to cause the family a lot of trouble. A child can be very effective as a reformer. In fact, I finally, I'd ask myself, why did I get put down in this household with this father who's so strong-willed he's going to go and do bad things no matter what? How upset my mother is. She didn't drink, and she hated alcohol. And every time he came home drunk, she'd just be furious, and the fight would be on. And he came home drunk every week, so there was a lot of fights. So, anyway, there's an awful lot of power in this little child. And I thought, well, that was why I was put down in this home, so that I can appeal to my father and help reform him. In fact, I felt that I was an even more effective reformer than my mother, because she'd get so furious and start calling names like, you son of a bitch, and then she thought of taking terrible revenge on him by doing somewhat the same thing, not drinking, but some of the other stuff that you can do to get even with you so-called that are wrong. And I didn't think two wrongs were going to make a right off of either one of them. And I was always puzzling over, well, what can a child do? What kind of power can I wield here? So I was thinking very early about this business of reforming people and being an exciting reformer, because the reason why you can be the most exciting person that outlaw is going to know is because you're going to study him, and he's going to be studied like he's never been studied before. You're going to be observing him, writing down your observations, thinking about him more than he's ever been thought about. If you're going to have any luck at all reforming him, you have to know this person. And I'm not only reforming the outlaw men around me, but I was always observing my sisters, always trying to get in there and say what I could to them. If they were going to do the wrong thing, I was to be saying, oh, well, now, because I felt that was my duty as the oldest daughter. If my sisters, I felt, were getting into something that they needed to have my observations about this. So we had a lot of fights over this sort of thing, of interfering with our younger sisters. Each sister, well, now you better not do that, and well, it's none of your business. Well, back and forth. But again, the same principle works. If you know your sisters, you keep track of them, you talk to them, you interact with them, you're friends with them, you become the best friend they ever had, then that is probably the only way they'll ever let you say something to them. If they're headed very willfully down the wrong road, I mean, most everybody that's going down the wrong road is very willful, like, you're not going to stop me. And and just try stopping somebody that's going to go out and party and drink and oh boy. My mother, I'd go try to stop her. I remember one time I would argue with her and say, well, why do you have to do that? Why do you boy, she had a very, very hot temper. You didn't argue with her long, because she shut you up good. And she didn't believe that kids should be telling mothers, their authority figures, what was wrong with what they were doing, even if it was wrong. No, that wasn't a kid's place, was her idea. And I said, well, it's a kid's place if mom don't know any better. And so, if you get the reforming spirit, you get it all over, I mean, with everybody. You're looking, well, let's see, could I stop that person from doing this and that and the other? And my kids criticized me because I would take, they questioned. If I decided that I'd see what I could do with an outlaw, a known outlaw, who'd done possibly extremely criminal things, but he was somewhat terrorizing the town and possibly doing more damage, if not to anybody else, his own family. What were you going to do? What do you do when you know there's somebody in the community that is not, he could be really doing bad things. So I'd be thinking about that. Well, let's see. What? Maybe I could get his story. Maybe I could find out more about him. That's the only way I'm going to be able to affect him. And see if there's some way that he can be reached, that he can be, that we can keep him from blowing up too high, hurting somebody too bad. Because he's right here with us. And oh, I would just get so furious. I would write a lot of letters to Hollywood stars that I thought romanticized outlaws. As they were some of the worst trouble we had, like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Why, there've never been two more charming portrayals of outlaws as Robert Redford as the Sundance Kid and Paul Newman as Butch. Whoa, those guys. That was one of the most popular movies of all Western movies of all time. But it was all a great big lie. It was all taking some outlaws and prettying them up and turning them into really romantic figures. Not getting all the warts. Not getting what, I wrote to Robert Redford. I said, man, I said, real outlaws, real Utah outlaws that you're talking about, people are scared to death of them. And they don't know what to do with them in their communities. And I just wish that you Hollywood people would stop making up these false stories about how an outlaw really acts. And don't tell the truth, and don't give them enough of a reforming note. What's the use of making a movie if you're just going to glorify the outlaw to the point that we don't even know what he did wrong? He was cute, and but anyway, you get the point. How to hit someone who is not doing what you think they could do. How do you convince them? How do you make this a strong enough appeal to them that they might think of reform as not as some big pain, something they don't quite believe in, but they become convinced that they are not acting quite as powerfully as they could with just committing themselves to more work on that very problem. How do I become effective, more effective? How do I become more powerful? And you don't become more powerful by being an outlaw. You don't. I don't care what the movies say. There's no glory in it in the end. It's just giving into your weaknesses, not thinking, not directing yourself toward a goal, not taking on the tough challenges of the era. That's what a reformer aims for. Challenge those people to do what they know they can do. They know it. They have the ability to do it, and they know it. They just haven't brought themselves to do it yet. Are you one of those people?